The stock market is always a wild one, supported by a figment of one's imagination, nothing more. Historically, when a company IPOs, they aim to be spectacular, to attract attention, to see that the market loves them and get off to a running start. However, in some cases, it's quite the opposite. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we are going to talk about the biggest loser. No, we're not talking about television, we're talking about Uber, we're talking about other companies out there that lose a lot of money. This is obviously a very deep conversation. I'm just going to cover one very basic point, and that is discussed right here. The biggest money losing companies to IPO haven't fared well in public markets. Uber will be the #1 biggest money loser ever at the time of its IPO. This obviously was from the previous day. I'm recording this video on the day that Uber has IPO'd. I'm going to show you the results of that if you haven't seen it. And this is a very interesting chart. We're looking at loss leaders. Uber has the largest operating loss of any IPO ever. Then you look right underneath. Lyft is #2. You go down the list and you might see other names that you recognize. We have Snap in here, Groupon is in here, and a few others. I should mention that Uber, in this case, is by far the leader. And this happens to be an issue that I don't think many people understand. They see Uber everywhere. They see the business that is obviously booming, but at the same time, you can see it's losing money. It's burning cash. And I personally don't understand the ins and outs. I haven't looked into all of their documentation. I've only taken a sneak peek at the numbers. But to me, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. A company that has basically no assets whatsoever and everything is running in the cloud and is operated by other individuals on their own, how this company isn't raking in the cash with such low expenditures. But I know that I've seen a few articles before talking about it, but to me, it seems like the money is being bled out somewhere, and this could be resolved. If they ever figure out a way to resolve the issues that they are currently dealing with, then they are going to be able to make a hell of a lot of money. Based on what I have seen, I had mixed results for my research as to what an Uber driver actually does make. I've seen many articles written saying they make less than minimum wage, others say $5. I have seen reports of people making hundreds of dollars a day driving for Uber, but you have to factor in obviously the expenses that are incurred while you are the driver. At the same time, all of your expenses that you operate as a business, I don't think a lot of people 9 to 5 realize this. Any of your expenses are business write-offs. So you have to think about it on all levels. Remember, not just what you see in the articles out there, but of course, somebody who actually experiences this for a period of time, and then during that period of time, as they go through the tax time, how did it end up after that 1 year? That's really what I want to see, a more in-depth analysis, because I often see things that are written that are not very clear, okay? So this is something that I just wanted to mention. Lyft and Uber obviously being basically the same thing for the purposes of this video anyway. Here you can see the list. I just wanted to show you that, and we'll look at the stock itself. So they decided to IPO at the bottom, basically near the bottom of the range that they were thinking about, even though it was decided by all of the analysts out there they were going to go in the middle of the range. They went $45. As you can see, after the close, it became $41.57, down almost 8% on the day. That could easily change in no time at all, but if you look at the size of the market cap here, we're talking about $76 billion. This is a lot of money that can be either brought into the stock or taken away. There have been many companies that have been so wonderful. By the time they IPO, they get out there, all of the love for that particular company is gone, and you see it just declining further and further. You take the example of Facebook. After it IPO'd, it bombed. It was terrible. However, in time, we saw the stock doing very well. So it all depends. It's very dependent on particular situations, what's happening in the time that it does IPO. Is it late in the cycle? What's also occurring on this particular day? What's interesting about this right now, Uber, and I'll show you Lyft in just a second, is that the market did very well by the end of the day. It actually reacted in the exact opposite direction that the market did. I found that to be funny because you looked at the market today, it started off by sinking further and further, and then suddenly it did extremely well. That right there is the complete opposite here, and I just found that to be, I would at least assume that it was going to do what the market did, and then over the next few days and so on, it would find a balance. But that didn't actually happen here, and I think that a lot of people were predicting perhaps a pump and dump. They're looking at Lyft, for example, which technically should not have traded the same as Uber, but the contagion is clearly here. This is the sickness that we see in these stocks. Just like the rest of the market, Lyft should have moved with the rest of the market, but instead it traded basically the same percentage-wise as Uber. And you're just looking at this, if I show you over the last month what it's done, and basically since it has IPO'd here, if I can get I don't know if that's the exact date, but March 29th, somewhere around there anyway, and you could see that it has gone from $78 down to $51. So that has not fared very well for this company. It's still very near term. Obviously, we're only in May at the time of this recording. Who knows where it will be by the end of the year or by next year. I do believe that this actual company, maybe not this one, but let's say the whole ride sharing type of services, Uber and Lyft, are going to become more prevalent as the months, the years go on. Look at people, what they do today. They are ever present on their phones. They are consistently there, and it's just so easy to hit a few buttons and they can bring the car that they want to them. As we go towards autonomous driving many years from now, as you know, it might take a while to prevent the accidents from occurring. I don't know how long they're ever going to take with that. Regardless, different story altogether. Once we get there, then you will probably see companies like Lyft, like Uber, and like the others out there that will be able to provide you with a service to go from door to door without the need of a human being intervening in there somewhere. You're going to be able to pull it up from a phone or whatever the heck we're using at that time, and they'll be able to transport you from place to place, and they will be able to get rid of a lot of their overhead that they have in these companies, and they will be able to be more profitable. That's, I think, the long-term goal of these companies. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. I don't know how much money they're going to have to invest to get there, and I am sure that we have some companies that are in the markets today that will be bankrupt trying to do this. So we'll see how it all plays out. I just wanted to bring up some points, my thoughts on Uber, on Lyft, on this technology, and of course on IPOs as well. If you appreciated this information, please give me a thumbs up. When you give me a like on these videos, you're supporting me, you're supporting this channel, so I do appreciate that very much. And last but not least, if you want the financial education you were not taught in school, these two books have everything you need from top to bottom, from A to Z. You get it all at the link in the description. Check it out. If you want the audiobook, that's available at themoneygps.com. I did a video about the 4.2 million unsold cars sitting in lots. Is this because of a change in times? Click on the video and I will see you there.